There is hope, absolutely, but to be perfectly honest, I'd put the odds at no more than 50-50. The problem at the moment is that Putin feels, or maybe he has to feel, that he still has a chance of winning if he can basically outlast the West's willingness and ability to continue supporting Ukraine. And likewise, the Ukrainians feel that they still have momentum on the battlefield. And although they will weather something of a storm of assaults in the spring, nonetheless, that ultimately time is on their side. So in some ways, neither Kyiv nor Moscow at present feel the need or the will to make the kind of compromises that peace would require. So we are frankly still heading into an attritional conflict that will just last and last. His plan is precisely to hope that he can outlast the West. It's very striking, his New Year's Eve address, which is usually something of a warm and fluffy moment at which Putin tries to put on the mantle of sort of benevolent father of the nation, was not only almost twice as long as usual, but it was almost entirely about the war and the way he was presenting it to the Russian people as a Western aggressive operation using Ukraine as its tool to grind down, divide, and marginalize Russia. I mean, these are not the words of someone who thinks that some kind of a deal is on the way or that he's willing to make any kind of concessions. So I think his view is precisely, his strategy is precisely that if he can outlast the West's capacity to continue supporting Ukraine, then he can impose an ugly peace on Kyiv. To be honest, I think Putin is wrong. I think there's no real signs of the kind of fragmentation of Western unity that he would need. He believes this for two reasons. One is because he does think that we in the West are flabby hypocrites who can't actually maintain costs for any length of time. But also he believes this because he has to believe it. It's his last chance of victory. So I think this is unfortunately the problem. So long as he thinks that any day now, we're going to start seeing cracks in the West, he's tempted to hang on just a bit longer. Ultimately, though, as I said, I think that he will find himself forced into some kind of a deal simply because of Ukrainian progress on the battlefield. Well, in spring, we're going to see the Russians launch some kind of offensives with the forces that they have been building up. However, these are not the kind of forces which can actually make, I would suggest, any major gains. And in some ways, that's not expected. They're more just intended to show that there's still life in Russia and show the West that the kind of, let's face it, every month we're sending billions of euros, pounds, and dollars to Kyiv. More or less Putin saying to the West, you're going to have to keep doing this for the foreseeable future. Are you still willing to do that? So I think that's what we'll see in spring. Let's not forget the Ukrainians, as it were, have a vote on the battlefield too. They will be launching their own offensives. Now, we're not expecting the kind of massive breakthroughs that we saw previously from Kharkiv and so forth in the north. But nonetheless, I mean, again, this will be the real test. Unless the Ukrainians can make some fast, real breakthroughs that really show that they're going to basically have won by summer, frankly, I think we're going to see the war settling down in an attritional phase of lots of small offensives, but no one really being able to get the upper hand.